Well, what I'm saying is God has a way of working things out in your favor. And I want you to know that God did not create you to be the tail, but you were created to be the head. And a lot of times, what people do, people look at other people, in a certain light or a certain way. And that's not who they are, but that is the image that they are trying to project. You know how you see some people and they try to project the image as if they have it all together and they're all established and they are mentally put together and they think that they're physically put together. And then you may get involved with those people only to find out this is a total nutcase. This is a total basket case. Oh, I thought that person was this, that, and the third. That's why I dated them. That's why I married them. That's why you let that man court you. My brother, that's why you courted that woman. You thought she was this, you thought she was that. And then after you got involved with her, you found out she was a total nutcase. You were looking at her like she was the apple of your eye, only to find out she was nothing but a piece of trash, and that it was never about her. It was always about you. And the same thing with you sisters. You were looking at this man as if oh yes, he is the one, honey. He is this, he is that. He seems to be this, he seems to be that, and he was none of that. And it was never about him. It was always about you. You were always the head and he was the tail. But that's what happens a lot of times when you get involved with people that are narcissists. They could be absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then when they get with you, it is something about your energy, something about your persona, something about who you are that you don't even realize you are at the time perhaps, that gives them a come up. And then after they feel like that they have arrived, they start thinking that they are better than you. They think they are more than you. They start thinking that they look better than you. They start thinking that it's about them. Because for some reason, people that are narcissists, they think it's about them anyway. They think that everybody wants them. They think they are the it guy. They are the it chick. When in actuality, it is the ones that are of a humble spirit that are the it guy and the it chick. And those are the people that are to be desired. Those are the people that are desired. After most people find out that a narcissist ain't about nothing. Can I get a witness out there? And it's so strange how, have you ever seen the plot to movies? A movie that does not have a good plot is just a flop. It's just a whack movie. But have you ever watched a movie and it was a good movie, you liked it, da 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 da, and then you traveled on throughout your life, and then maybe a couple years went by or a couple months or whatever, and maybe you've had different things to transpire in your life, and then you go back and look at that movie and you see yourself in that movie, and by that I mean you can identify with the characters in the movie or a character in the movie in some aspect of the word, if not every if not in every way. So, meaning you could look at a gangster movie, and you can enjoy the movie, and then you go on and live your life and go on about your life. And then one day, on down the road, you look back at that movie again, and you see yourself in that movie, meaning you didn't know that you were going to have to become the gangster in your own life. And by me using that term gangster, I'm not using it in a negative light, because I know it's not necessarily a positive term when used in a certain aspect of the word. But I do see it as in a positive way as it pertains to handling and taking care of your business. And one thing we know about a true gangster, he or she takes care of his or her business. And they're willing to go to war and battle and fight to maintain and obtain whatever it is that they feel is of a necessity to their lives. So it's almost like sometimes you could be sitting there looking at something on your TV or the internet or a movie theater, and you don't even realize that if you keep on living, keep on thriving, one day you're going to become, in a sense of the word, who you're looking at. You're going to have to become a gangster in your own life when the wrong one crosses you, or when the wrong ones cross you. Whereas initially, you were yourself, but you were somebody else. But due to the level of spiritual warfare that you've had to endure and conquer, you can now identify with certain characters in certain movies as to why they were so ruthless and so adamant about obtaining and maintaining what they have at any cost, and not allowing anyone to take it from them, take their lifestyle, take what they work for from them. Now, I'm not saying in any way to condone the conduct of someone that deals drugs, and I'm not saying it to judge anybody that deals drugs, because to be honest, that's none of my business. I know the type of world that we live in, and I know people have to survive by any means necessary. So I'm definitely not saying it in that sense, because I actually see both sides of the fence. So I'm neutral in that sense of it, because no man is going to allow his family to go hungry just because the laws of this land want to deliberately keep people in poverty so that they have to do things to break the law and end up in penitentiaries. So no, there is no way that I'm going to be judgmental about anybody that's taking care of business. But I was just using that term gangster and all this, that, and the third, just to show you how sometimes you have to become a gangster in your own life. Sometimes you have to get rid of people that have betrayed you. Sometimes you have to walk through certain things in your own lives to understand the decisions that other people have made in their lives, even if it's just played out in a movie. Even if it was a movie where you may not have understood, oh my gosh, why did such and such kill such and such? Why did they do that? I don't understand. But then you keep on living. And then you all end up having to take down a two-faced person who was conspiring with your enemies against you. And then you step into the realization, now I understand why he smoked you. I understand. Because there's something about loyalty. You just don't cross the line. There is no coming back. Once you cross the line of loyalty, it's a wrap. Even if the people decide to stay together, if it's a relationship, or stay or continue to hang out, if it's a so-called friendship, it is never the same. I'm going to say it like I'm hearing it. It ain't never the same. You can never look at that person the same way again. You can never trust that person again, because you will always have to side-eye that person and wonder if that person has reverted back to who they were when they betrayed you. And to be honest, let me tell you something about people. It's not even wondering about if they're reverting back to who you thought they were. That's who they were in the first place. So people don't have to change back into who they were when they first met you. Can I talk to somebody out there today? If they were a snake and they betrayed you, that's who approached you initially. If they were a snake and they betrayed you, that's who you hung out with initially. You hung out with a pack of snakes that you thought were your friends. You hung out with a snake that you thought was your man. You hung out with a snake that you thought was your woman. You hung out with a snake that you thought was your family member. Or you hung out with a pack of snakes that you thought was your family members. Or you hung out with a pack of snakes that whatever you thought. Whatever your situation is, I don't know. I just threw that out there. So it's not that people necessarily changed. That was in their heart anyway. That's who they were anyway. They just had not tried you yet. Am I talking to somebody out there? Anybody, I believe, that is a betrayer, it has always been a seed in that person's heart. That's their character. And it's not to say that, I'm hearing their very substance, but it's not to say that people can't have a change of heart, of course. But if God don't change them, there will be no change, if you ask me. Opinions may vary, and I'm not saying people necessarily have to come to God to change their way and better their life. There have been plenty of people that have changed their character for the better, and they're not saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Spirit. But it has to be a decision that they want to make. And see, a lot of times, like I said, people can look at people in a certain light and give people certain titles that they don't need to carry. Oh, this is such and such, and that's that such.